for flu shots. It's that time of year. I just had my flu shot, and we've got others that are lining up out there. But I suppose they can do their business out there while we do our business in here and still constitute a quorum and have all of us here. We will start our meeting tonight as we typically do with an invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation tonight is going to be led by Pastor Marshall Mabry of Tremont Temple Baptist Church, and he has two of his children with him that will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand as you are able for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance?
If you would just pause with me for this brief moment of prayer. Eternal Creator, we give you thanks, oh God, for how you have blessed us this great and wonderful day and how you continue to bless the church as well as each and every one of us with your Holy Spirit. Help us to support one another, to be respectful of our differences, to work for the unity of those around us in this great community we call Macon-Bibb. Help us to be, by your grace, to continue praying the prayer of your Son, that we might maybe by one, that we may draw even closer together and recognize our unity that is of yours through the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Be seated. Let me expand on the introduction that I made earlier. Pastor Marshall Mabry is the senior pastor at Tremont Temple Baptist Church, duly consecrated bishop, noted speaker, author of 3 books, and church planner. Pastor Mabry has an approach to ministry that has been considered unorthodox by some because of his mixture of contemporary theology and practical real-life sermons. Through the process of becoming the Word spoken by God over his life, Bishop Mabry served in many capacities within the church before pastoring. Through his submission to and exposition of the Word of God, Pastor Mabry continues to leave an indelible mark on the lives of those who seek the true and living God. His desire, in-depth examination, spiritual truth combined with effective oratory skills make him a sought-after revivalist. And we appreciate very much, Pastor Mabry, your being here. He brought with him tonight 2 of his children. Let's see, I've got Hannah, Mariah Mabry. Hannah, would you stand for us? Where are you? There's Hannah, 4th grade student at Springdale is what I've got, elementary school Macon. Enjoys singing in the chorus, dancing at church, and reading. Hannah is an avid reader and became a millionaire reader while in the 3rd grade and looking to become a double millionaire reader in this school year. Congratulations to you on that. And Joy, Jackson, Joy, there you are, great. Joy is a 6-year-old born in Augusta. Currently she attends Sonny Carter Elementary School in the 1st grade. In her spare time, likes going to church, reading, dancing, and modeling. If asked what she wants to be when she grows up, she says, a star. And I think you're going to be one. Thank you very much, Pastor Mabry, and thank you to Hannah and Joy. We appreciate it. Wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Next item we've got is approval of the minutes. The minutes of our pre-commission meeting of October the 15th and regular commission meeting that same night have been prepared and distributed. Are there any changes or corrections? And if not, can I get a motion to approve the minutes by Commissioner Wynn, second by Schlesinger? Further discussion here? None. All in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and those 2 sets of minutes are all approved. We have several invited guests with us tonight. We're delighted that each and every one of you are here, but let me come down to the podium and ask you to come up and join me as I call you out. First, let me call up the Honorable Bobby Faulkner, who served as municipal court judge for Macon and Macon-Bibb County. and call him up to help commemorate his retirement effective July the 31st. Judge Faulkner? I am most appreciative of your service. We were talking a little earlier, and Bobby reminded me that he began his service after he graduated from Mercer Law School as a judge in the municipal court pro hac vice, and would serve just as needed and from time to time, and would come in and fill in. But after I became mayor, I appointed a single full-time municipal court judge. And Judge Faulkner started November 17th as a full-time judge of the municipal court and continued to serve until he retired July the 31st. Judge Faulkner, thank you for your years of service. We appreciate you and wish you all the best in your retirement. We want to present you with this little gavel on a plaque to remind you of how much we appreciate your service.
Thank you very much.
Lynn, you want to come around here?
1, 2, 3. That's great, thank you.
Good. All right, let me give this to you along with the Judge Faulkner. Thank you for your patience in waiting for us this long. I understand completely. Thank you very much, Judge Faulkner. Next, we are honored to have with us tonight the principal chief of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Principal Chief James Floyd is with us tonight. Chief Floyd, if I could get you to stand and come over here with me. Chief Floyd is the chief executive of the fourth largest tribe in the United States, located in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. The Muskogee Creek Nation covers 11 counties in eastern Oklahoma with over 86,500 members. The Muskogee Creek Nation operates a budget in excess of $290 million with more than 4,000 employees. Gaming enterprises consist of 9 casinos, the largest being the River Spirit Casino Resort in Tulsa. Non-gaming business ventures include property management, information technology, staffing, and security to customers worldwide. The Muskogee Creek Nation operates 2 travel plazas, 2 community hospitals, a community clinic, 5 tribal clinics, a rehabilitation facility, and the College of the Muskogee Nation. Chief Floyd's career spans more than 38 years of public service, 28 years of federal service, 23 years in the senior executive service. He has participated and been a champion for the expansion and upgrade of the National Monument here in Macon-Bibb County, the ancestral home of the Muskogee Creek Indians. And he personally helped to pass this bill in Congress this last year, excuse me, that enlarged the boundary of the monument by approximately 2,300 acres, additional acres added to the 600 that was there, so that it's close to a 3,000 acre reservation now, and also to upgrade the name and the status to Okmulgee Mounds National Historical Park. We are thrilled and delighted, sir, to have you here in Macon. We want to welcome you and to say how much we appreciate you and your dedication to all that we've done at the monument.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it.
Members of the City Commission and those in attendance today, I just want to give my thanks to each one of you for allowing me to come down to Macon and over the past 4 years being a part of the community and its efforts to restore and maintain the historic lands of our people. We had occupied this area for more than 600 years before being forcibly removed to Indian Territory, which is now Oklahoma. So in a sense, this is our home here, and it's great to always be welcome back. Wonderful city. We love it. I love it here, and I think I can speak on behalf of all the tribe that we love Macon. And to come back here and to be welcomed is such a thrill. We hope this relationship will always continue to prosper. And again, my thanks to each one of you in your respective roles. Mado.
Hey, hey. Thank you. Kenzie, yeah, y'all slip out whenever you're ready. That's exactly right. All too often, we hear negative comments about our employees. I mean, I think that from time to time we all have been beset by somebody that says that our employees aren't really motivated, they don't really do much, they're lazy, they're this, they're that, they're the other. And in fact, quite the opposite is true. We have dedicated and loyal employees, many of whom excel and are recognized for service and awards. And so when that happens, excuse me, let me get my water. I'm got a dry throat. Some would probably say I'm talking too much. But I think you'll join me in saying you're glad I got some water so that I could continue. We do want to recognize several of our employees tonight. So first, let me call down Jeremy Webb. Jeremy, aren't you here with us? Come on down, Jeremy Webb. Jeremy was named recently as Georgia's Fire Educator of the Year. The Georgia State Firefighters Association, the GSFA, has recently recognized Macon-Bibb County's fire safety educator, Jeremy Webb, for being selected as the recipient of the 2019 Educator of the Year. This award honors a member of Georgia's fire service community who has exemplified a dedication to educating residents about the significance of fire safety and prevention. Webb was presented this award during the 2019 Georgia Fire Service Conference Award ceremony held in Albany, Georgia. I want to add my congratulations to you, sir, and my appreciation for all that you do to help educate our citizens on how to prevent fires and maintain a higher degree of safety in their own homes and businesses. So thank you for all that you do. We appreciate you. Down in Albany. Thank you very much. Also, I hope Dominique Wisby is here. Dominique, Brittany Fletcher. Is Brittany here? Shunquinice Dennis. Good. Shunquinice and Clarence Thomas. I got, what, 2 out of 4? Robert, is that right? I got 2 out of 4? Yeah, you got 2 out of 4. Well, you too. Come on down here, Robert Walker. Come on down. I want to say 4 employees in our recreation department recently earned top recognitions for the District 6 in the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association, the GRPA. They were recognized for a specific event as well as local programming and involvement in the community with GRPA. Dominique Wisby, recreation programmer, was had the special event of the year, the Dia Los Muertos Fall Festival. Brittany Fletcher is recreation operations manager. She received an award for athletics and the Aquatic Network Award. Shunquinice, Shunquinice Dennis. She's at the Dolores A. Brooks Recreation Center and is a coordinator there. She received the Programmer Network Award. And Clarence Thomas, who's at the Frank Johnson Recreation Center and is the supervisor there, received the Distinguished Professional Award. And I just wanted to add my congratulations to you and to thank you for all of your hard work each and every day to the citizens of Macon-Bibb County. Thank you very, very much. Is she really? Well, I'm sorry. We should have added that, and I'm delighted. She's an Al Lucas scholarship recipient. So, Sharon Quinice, thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate what you do for us. Those are all of our invited guests, but all of you we're delighted that you are here. This is the time now where we go to public comments on agenda items so that we hear your comments before we vote. Nobody signed up for, oh.
No, sir. No, sir.
I'm advised that nobody signed up to make a comment on any of the agenda items for tonight, so we'll move into reports from our standing committees. First is Operations and Finance Committee. Excuse me, y'all. And that report will be given to us by Chairman Watkins. Chairman Watkins?
Thank you, sir. The committee met on October 22nd, 2019 and took the following action. We approved the amendment to the FY19 general fund budget to the amount of $164,486,473 in total revenues and expenses, resulting in a supplemental appropriations of $487,633. We approved a supplemental appropriations of $33,889,414 to account for outstanding purchase orders in the FY19 budget. And we approved an agreement with John and Dennis Walker to use up to 16 acres of property on Lower Poplar Street for the grazing of cattle at a rate of $600 per year. The committee approved a radio systems maintenance agreement with Williams Communications for a 3-year period for the maintenance of the countywide radio systems. The committee approved an amendment to the recreational organizational charts to add 2 new custodial maintenance workers. The committee approved the 22nd amendment to the SPLOST project timeline. Committee approved an appropriation of up to $1.5 million from SPLOST for the sheriff to acquire and renovate the former rescue mission building. Committee also approved a $533,000 SPLOST amendment for buildings and installing new baseball fields and lights at the Loris Brooks Recreation Center. Committee approved the following grants: a grant from the Office of Justice Programs for the FY19 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Program to the Sheriff's Office for an amount of $69,000. A grant for the FY 2019 Homeland Security Sub-Grant for the Fire Department, Homeland Security in the amount of $31,906. A Peyton Anderson grant to the Sheriff's Office to assist in working with homeless persons downtown in the amount of $5,000. A heat grant with the Sheriff's Office to purchase 3 patrol cars and 3 full-time heat officers in the amount of $290,000. A GEMA EOD K-9 grant from the Homeland Security Office to provide care and equipment for the Sheriff's Explosive Ordnance Detecting Dogs in the amount of $3,000. A grant from the Georgia Office of Highway Safety for the Pedestrians on the Move program in the amount of $23,905. A grant from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council to the Solicitor General in the amount of $165,711 with a local match of $41,428. A grant from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council from the District Attorney's Office in the amount of $8,841 with a local match of $72,962, and appropriation to apply for the LMIG grant in the amount of $2,224,182 with a local match of $667,254.70 plus an additional funding paid by SPLOST in the amount of $86,284.97. The committee heard a report on the finance department concerning Bowden golf courses and the human resource department. This concludes operations and finance committee report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Watkins. Next report from Economic and Community Development Committee, and that report will be given to us by Vice Chairman Wynn. Vice Chairman Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Economic and Community Development Committee met on October 22nd, 2019, and took the following actions. The committee approved the reappointment of John C. Walker to the Macon Housing Authority and Violet Poe to the Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority. Two very good people. The committee heard a comprehensive update on the Tom Fontaine /RBI Cal Ripken fields out on Anthony Road. This concludes the report of the Economic and Community Development Committee.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Wynn. Appreciate that report. No report from Public Safety. So we'll go then to Facilities and Engineering Committee, and that report will be given to us by Chairman Jones. Chairman Jones.
Thank you, sir. Facilities and Engineering also met on October 22nd, 2019. It took the following action. One, the committee approved the installation of 3 mini libraries at the South Bibb Recreation Center. 2, the committee also approved the antenna placement lease with Georgia PCS Management to provide the reinforcement of the Guy Payne Road radio tower. And 3, the committee approved the quitclaim deed for the sale of property to Jackie L. Hammond, totaling approximately 0.08 acres at the end of Sharon Lee Drive for a total of $561. That completes the report of Facilities and Engineering.
Thank you, Chairman Jones. That takes us now to the consent agenda. These are alcohol license applications. Each of the following 4 license applications was all accompanied by the necessary paperwork, which includes a certification by the sheriff of a satisfactory background check of the applicant, a certification by the Business Development Services Office to say that the appropriate fees have been tendered for the alcoholic beverages that they're trying to sell, a certificate of zoning compliance from the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Authority, a certification by the county engineer that the location meets all the distance separation requirements contained in the law, and a copy of the ad that ran in the Macon Telegraph to make people aware. So each of the 4 applications has all of that. The first one is for the Navdurga Group, LLC, doing business as AK Express at 1091 Clinton Road. It is for beer and wine package sales to go from that location. The second is NK Management LLC, doing business as the QF Food Mart at 1890 Sherling Drive. That also is for beer and wine package sales to go from that location. The third is Macon Beverage Company LLC, doing business as Macon Beverage at 4375 San Carlos Drive, and they are a wholesaler of beer and wine. And the final license application is from Playball Georgia Macon LLC, doing business as the Glory Days Grill at 3951 Arkwright Road, and that is for liquor, mixed drinks, beer and wine to be consumed on the premise at that new location. That was one of the only that was the only one of the 4 that we received a negative comment, but the comment was really not so much about the location or the applicant as much as it was about the evils of alcohol in general. The Committee of the Whole recommends approval of all 4 of these licenses. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the issuance of these 4 licenses signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and those 4 licenses will be issued as requested. That then takes us to old business, which is next on the agenda. And the first item of old business is an appointment or a reappointment to the Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to reappoint Violet Poe to the Macon-Bibb County Transit Authority and for other lawful purposes.
The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Lucas, is that you?
Yes, thank you. I just couldn't let this pass without expressing our appreciation to Violet Poe, who's being nominated for reappointment to Macon Transit. She just recently informed us that she will be leaving the Pedestrian Safety Review Board. She started out with that board and just has done so much in the area of pedestrian safety. She's the one who we can give credit to for an item that's on our agenda for approval later on, which is a grant that we have received. I think this is the 3rd grant that we have received from the Department of Highway Safety for her Pedestrian on the Move program and others that have targeted our young people especially and our senior citizens for extra safety in the community. So I just want to salute Violet. It's a pleasure for me to cast a vote for her for this. It's unfortunate that she's no longer going to serve on pedestrian safety, but I know she's going to be out there directing traffic and telling people, keeping people safe, even no longer being on the Pedestrian Safety Review Board. She's a retired educator, and it was my pleasure to work with her for a few years over at Hutchings Career Center. She is an excellent teacher and just a wonderful advocate for people in the community. So I wholeheartedly endorse her reappointment to the Transit Authority.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Ms. Poe, thank you very much. Congratulations to you, and we appreciate your service, continued service on the Transit Authority. Thank you so much. Next item is an appointment to the Macon Housing Authority, or reappointment to the Macon Housing Authority, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission reappointing John C. Walker III to the Macon Housing Authority Board of Commissioners and for other lawful purposes.
The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution requesting action by our local legislative delegation to the Georgia General Assembly concerning pedestrian safety, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to request that the local legislative delegation introduce the necessary legislation during the 2020 session of the Georgia General Assembly to provide for the study of pedestrian safety along state routes located within Macon-Bibb County, and for the construction of appropriate crossings and other improvements in order to eliminate pedestrian fatalities along state routes in Macon-Bibb County and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Wynn, got your light on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Some people, I've discussed this with some people, and there was concern about the study, having a study done. I think we all can agree, the community of Macon-Bibb County, that we have issues with crossings at a lot of our state roadways. And I think this is something that the state should be looking at and looking into about resolving, because if you've ever been out on Gray Highway and try to find a place to cross over there, there's no place to cross but at a few intersections. And then you go to Emory Highway or you go to Pinone Avenue, same thing. It's hard to cross those. So, I mean, the study for this we're asking for from the local legislators is to just looking to see if they can do anything about constructing some kind of crossings or improvements, which we certainly could use. There are things we can do to make these roadways a little safer for our pedestrians, and I think this study would help us find that answer.
Thank you, Commissioner Wynn. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution as amended signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution requesting our Health Care and Retirement Benefits Committee assist us in making evaluations and recommendations on the pay scale, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to request the Health Care and Retirement Benefits Committee to assist in evaluating and making recommendations regarding the proposal to adopt a new pay scale and provide for annual 2% cost of living salary increases for Macon-Bibb County employees and for other purposes.
The committee, I think, amended that to make delete the annual, but to request their input on 2% payroll increase or salary increases. The Committee of the Whole, with that amendment, recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution concerning recommendations for the open enrollment process, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve and adopt the recommendations of the Health Care and Retirement Benefits Committee concerning the 2019 open enrollment process and for other lawful purposes.
Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Jones?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, if I may go back to D for 1 second. So is that, my understanding is the word annual was removed. That's not what shows on our agenda. It says annual, but the word annual was removed in the actual amendment itself, because that's what we passed.
That is my understanding from the clerk.
Okay.
Because we had a similar resolution where we eliminated the automatic annual increase. So this was revised and amended so that it mirrored that other resolution that we passed.
What way it reads, I just wanted to make sure.
Right. We should have changed the caption as well.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
So on E, we're on E as the Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Did you read it yet?
Yes, sir, I did.
You read it. Is there further discussion about the open enrollment process and involving the Health Care and Retirement Benefits Committee in that process? Is there further discussion about that? Hearing none, all in favor of that resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that resolution is adopted. Now let's move to item F, which is a resolution to allow Macon-Bibb County to enter into a ground lease agreement for a new project at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing Macon-Bibb County to enter into an intergovernmental ground lease agreement with the Macon-Bibb County Industrial Authority relating to the project Dove development at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommended approval, but since that happened, we've actually had an announcement, a public announcement, so that we now know that Project Dove is the location of the Dean Baldwin Aircraft Painting Corporation that's going to build a new hangar at Middle Georgia Regional Airport. So that's very exciting, and you've got a picture of the hangar complex that they are looking at building out there. The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item G is a resolution to authorize and accept installation of some mini libraries, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize and accept the installation of 3 mini libraries at the South Bibb County Recreation Center and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Wynn, got you again.
Thank you. I just, people watch this meeting on TV, and I'm glad they do. I think that we might want to just tell them what these 3 mini libraries are. We had a picture here. I don't know if that's shown to the audience too, about what they look like. They're just small little libraries where they can come check out books and take them back. And they're all going to be at the new South Bibb County Recreation area. And I'm not sure if, I'm trying to remember, was one of them actually going to be in the building itself? I thought so. Mm-hmm. But then the other 2 will be like these small outbuildings here. So I just wanted people to know what that was, that they'd be available at that recreation site.
Very good. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item H is a resolution to authorize antenna placement lease, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute an amendment to the antenna placement lease with Georgia PCS Management PCS LLC to provide for reinforcement of the Guy Payne Road radio tower, the substitution of radio equipment housed thereon, and an increase in rents paid for placement of antennas on said tower and for other lawful purposes.
Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution to execute a quitclaim deed for some property off the end of Sharon Lee Drive, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed for the sale of property to Jackie L. Hammond, totaling approximately .08 acres, located at the end of Sharon Lee Drive for its fair market value of $561 and for other lawful purposes.
Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is item J. And item J is an end-of-year accounting in conjunction with the audit and a supplemental appropriation to cover overages in certain departments. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend the FY 2019 general fund budget to $164,486,473 in total revenues and $164,486,473 in total expenditures, resulting in a supplemental appropriation of $487,633, and to amend the FY 2019 budgets of other funds where departmental expenditures were impacted and other year-end adjustments.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Watkins?
Just so no one got sticker shock on this number, I just wanted to point out that, yes, this is an additional $480,000, but remember, due to salary savings, vacancies, and other things, that healthcare savings, we netted a total of $10 million in the positive that we shifted to our fund balance savings for the year. So this is $487,000 of items that we discussed throughout the year. Some of those larger items being $139,000 for the city county attorneys outside counsel payments. The burial services, the line item went over budget. Transfers to the Bowden Golf Course, vehicle maintenance, and also the firemen's overtime amount. So those big lumps account for most of that 487. There are some 5,000s and 1,000s here or there, but those items make up most of it.
Thank you, Chairman Watkins. Next, Commissioner Bibb, got your light on, sir.
Yeah, I'd just like to know if we could do some follow-up with some of the discussion we had on item J earlier, and look at the agreement we had some time ago on the blight funding that we haven't gotten to yet. But if we could have that as an agenda item and follow up next week.
Yes, I think I can reassure you that will be follow-up on several different items associated with blight, and specifically on your request about additional funding for it. Yes, sir. We'll be sure to put that on the agenda. And I also got Commissioner Wynn, your light on.
Yes, sir. Just to follow up on Commissioner Watkins, we do watch the budget, and we have enacted a monthly budget review this year to watch what items are going over, what lines are going over, and some of the things Commissioner Watkins mentioned, sometimes you don't know those exact expenses at the beginning, and they do occur, and we have to take care of them. So we are watching these numbers. That almost $500,000 is a lot of money, I know, but we'll continue to watch it and see where overages might be occurring. But I think we need to take care of that.
Thank you, Commissioner Wynn. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Next is a companion ordinance to roll over certain purchase orders that were not completed in the prior fiscal year and into the next fiscal year, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve a supplemental appropriation for the transfer of $33,889,414 from general fund balance to multiple funds in the FY20 budget to account for outstanding purchase orders and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Chairman Watkins, got your light on, sir.
Just want to provide some calmness and clarity for everyone. I know the 33 million looks like a whole lot, but what we're doing, I think the mayor explained it pretty well. Projects that we began in the fiscal year of 19 that are still either not complete or were not complete at that time. A great example of that is the Jeffersonville Road project. We began the project and encumbered that money early in fiscal year 19. It's still ongoing. The money is safe. It is accounted for. We just rolled it over into this fiscal year. And same with many of our SPLOSH projects as well that make up a large share of that number. Well, those two make up all of it.
Thank you, Chairman Watkins. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Next is item L, which is a grant from the Office of Justice Programs, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a grant from the Office of Justice Programs, FY19 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program, in the amount of $69,982 to be used by the Bibb County Sheriff's Office and the Bibb County Drug Court with no local match and other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is another grant from Homeland Security, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to accept an FY 2019 Homeland Security subgrant from the State Homeland Security Program in the amount of $31,906 to the Macon-Bibb County Fire Department to build and enhance Macon-Bibb County's capabilities in Homeland Security and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is item N, which is a discretionary grant from the Peyton Anderson Foundation, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a discretionary grant from the Peyton Anderson Foundation in the amount of $5,000 with no local match to be used by the Bibb County Sheriff's Office Community Fund to assist in working with homeless persons in the downtown Macon area and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is item O, which is a resolution concerning a heat grant, which I understand deals with highway aggressive driving and enforcement. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of an FY 2019 heat grant from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety in the amount of $290,070.81 with no local match to be used by the Bibb County Sheriff's Office to provide for the purchase and equipment of 3 patrol vehicles and fund salaries for 3 full-time heat officers and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is another grant, this time for a explosive ordnance detecting dog and supplies for the dog. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of an FY 2019 GEMA EOD K-9 grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in the amount of $3,000 with no local match to be used by the Bibb County Sheriff's Office to provide care and equipment to the Sheriff's explosive ordnance detecting dogs and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. That's the dog, but this is for the food and equipment for the dog. As the ayes have it, resolution is adopted. Item Q is a pedestrian safety on the move grant, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to accept a grant from the Georgia Office of Highway Safety in the amount of $23,905 for the pedestrian on the move program and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Wynn?
I just wanted to point out that, we thank Violet Poe for things like this that have happened in this pedestrian safety move, and we thank you for that. And this-
Absolutely. We're indebted to her. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is our local maintenance and improvement grant, affectionately known as LMIG grant from the state, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to apply for a 2020 local maintenance and improvement grant in the amount of $2,224,182.33, authorizing the acceptance of said funds and appropriating the required local match of $667,254.70, plus additional funding of $86,284.97, all to be paid from the 2017 SPLOST bond proceeds and our 2018 SPLOST revenues, roads and bridges, LMIG line item, should said application be approved, identifying the list of road projects to be funded thereby and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Allen.
This money probably be available. I sure got a lot of roads in my district.
Well, first of all, you need to check with the county engineer.
I know, but I just wonder how soon will it be before we can start talking to them?
To be perfectly honest, I'd have to ask the county engineer to get you an accurate answer, but I'll do that and try to get that information to you. Will you remind me to
Yes, sir.
ask the engineer kind of what the cycle is and when we get the money? But this is a necessary step in that direction, so. Mr. Bivens, got your light on, sir.
Yeah, I hope we will continue as we have in the past, is to let our engineering department have that primary responsibility. Kind of keeps the politics out of it, because all of us can decide on some roads we want to see done, and we can argue about them. And I think they have the ability to look at the roads and come up with the ones that are in the most need, and I hope we continue along that line.
Thank you, Commissioner Bivens. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item S is a Criminal Justice Coordinating Council grant, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a Criminal Justice Coordinating Council 2019-2020 Victims of Crime Act Continuation Award allocation in the amount of $165,711, requiring a local matching fund amount of $41,428 to the Bibb County Solicitor General as indicated in the hereto attached Exhibit A and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item T is a similar grant or companion grant also from the Victims of Crime Act, but this one I think is going to the District Attorney's Office, whereas the previous one went to the State Solicitor's Office, and I'm going to ask the clerk to read this one by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a Criminal Justice Coordinating Council 2019-2020 Federal Fiscal Year Victims of Crime Act Continuation Award allocation in the amount of $108,841, requiring local matching funds in the amount of $27,210, and a comp advocate allocation in the amount of $72,962, with the matching fund amount having been waived, to the Macon Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office as indicated in the hereto attached Exhibit A and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item U is a lease of certain property down on Lower Poplar Street, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a new use agreement with John R. Walker Sr. and Dennis A. Walker to allow for the use of approximately 16 acres of property located along Lower Poplar Street for the purpose of grazing cattle at a rate of $600 per year for a period to end December 21st, 2021, and for other purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement pertaining to radio systems maintenance, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute a radio systems maintenance agreement with Williams Communications, Inc. in the amount of $787,486 payable over 3 years for the maintenance of countywide radio systems to be paid from the IT department budget and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item W is an ordinance to amend the organizational chart and to appropriate additional money for 2 additional positions in the Recreation Department. And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to amend the Macon-Bibb County Recreation Department organizational chart and to approve a supplemental appropriation for the transfer of up to $48,548 and benefits from the general fund balance in the FY 2020 budget to fund 2 additional custodial maintenance worker positions and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Item X is a 22nd amendment to the SPLOST project timeline, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve the 22nd Amendment to the 2018 SPLOST project timeline and budget as presented by the SPLOST project manager and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. That brings us to item Y, which is an ordinance to approve and appropriate some additional SPLOST dollars for certain projects, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve and authorize the appropriation of up to $1,500,000 from SPLOST bond revenues and our SPLOST bond proceeds, calendar year 2019 public safety, sheriff building line item for the purpose of acquiring and renovating the former rescue mission building and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Jones, I think I got your light on, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Refresh my memory. It seems like the purchase price was $1,000,001, and why did we say up to $1,005,000? Do you recall?
I was not present when this was discussed. I'll call on Chairman Watkins to see if he recalls. I think it may have been for furniture and fixtures and some slight modifications, if I understood correctly the report I got back.
So it'd be
It does say up to.
yeah, so it'll be the amount that's necessary. If there's money left over, it would be returned to
Yeah.
SPLOST.
That's as always.
Okay. Is there further discussion?
We don't know.
Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. Item Z is an ordinance to appropriate additional SPLOST dollars for the former East Macon Recreation Center, now Dolores A. Brooks Recreation Center. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve and authorize the appropriation of up to $533,000 from SPLOST bond revenues and our SPLOST bond proceeds for calendar year 2019 Parks and Recreation, East Macon Rec Line item for the purpose of completing the building and installing new baseball field lights at the Dolores A. Brooks Recreation Center and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ordinance is adopted. And finally, item AA is an ordinance to authorize the mayor to sign a settlement agreement with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and to appropriate the money to pay a civil fine of $145,000. I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute the consent agreement and final order with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for remediation and improvement to the county stormwater system, to make a supplemental appropriation from the general fund in the amount of $145,000 for the payment of a civil penalty and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is adopted. That brings us now to new business. These are items that have been prepared and have come down thus far from the county attorney's office. There may be some additional items that come down during the balance of the week, and I would encourage you to get the agenda that's published by the clerk at the end on Friday afternoon to see all of the ordinances and resolutions that have been prepared and referred to committees, which will meet beginning next Tuesday, the 12th of November, in the conference meeting room behind us, beginning at 9 o'clock in the morning. The new business that's been referred thus far include the following. A resolution to authorize the mayor to execute an amendment to the management agreement with Global Spectrum LP by extending the term of the agreement in exchange for making capital improvements in the amount of $250,000 to the Macon Cineplex. I'll refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item B is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Musco Sports Lighting LLC in the amount of $471,500 for lighting to be installed at the John Drew Smith Tennis Center to be paid from SPLOST bond proceeds and or SPLOST revenues. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item C is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Middle Georgia Outdoor Lighting Incorporated in the amount of $110,220 for services related to the installation of the Musco lighting equipment at the John Drew Smith Tennis Center to be paid by SPLOST bond proceeds and or SPLOST revenues. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item D is excuse me. Item D is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Signature Tennis Courts Incorporated in the amount of $202,000 for resurfacing and repair services at the John Drew Smith and Tatnall Square Tennis Centers to be paid by SPLOST bond proceeds and or SPLOST revenues. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item E is an ordinance to appropriate and authorize appropriation of up to $75,000 from SPLOST bond revenues and or SPLOST bond proceeds, calendar year 2019 Parks and Recreation for the John Drew Smith tennis line item to provide funding for new LED lighting and the resurfacing of the tennis courts. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item F is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Surface Masters Incorporated in the amount of $159,995 for resurfacing, repair, and restriping services of the Bloomfield Gilead Recreation Center parking lot to be paid for by SPLOST bond proceeds and or SPLOST revenues. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance. You're going to be busy. Chairman Walker. Item G is a resolution to express support for the plan of the Urban Development Authority to obtain county-backed financing in the amount of $900,000 for the purpose of constructing improvements to Rosa Parks Square and to apply the proceeds from the sale of the Willie Hill Annex building toward the repayment of said financing. I'm going to refer that to the Committee of the Whole. Item H is a resolution to authorize the acceptance of certain registered roads for public use as part of the county road system. I'm going to refer that to the Facilities and Engineering Committee. Item I is a resolution to approve the 23rd Amendment to the SPLOST project timeline. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. Item J is an ordinance to approve and authorize the appropriation of up to $1,066,084 from SPLOST bond revenues or SPLOST bond proceeds, calendar year 2019 roads and bridges, Central City Commons line item to provide funding for improvements to the Central City Commons project. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee. That's all of the new business that has come down thus far. Again, additional items may come down, so check the agenda that comes out on Friday afternoon. And now that brings us to the item for public comments on non-agenda items. This is when we hear from members of the public about items of concern generally, but which are not on the agenda for action tonight. We only have one.
Yes, sir.
And that's our good friend Donald Richardson. who wants to share some additional grassroots reflections with us. Mr. Richardson, thank you for your patience. We appreciate you being here. You're recognized for up to 5 minutes, sir.
Micah chapter 2. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, and neither shall you go haltingly, for this time is evil. In that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, We be utterly spoiled, he hath changed the portion of my people. How hath he removed it from me? Turning away, he hath divided our fields. Therefore thou shalt have none that shall cast the cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord. Prophesy ye not, say they to them that prophesy, they shall not prophesy to them, that they shall not take shame. O thou that art named the house of Jacob, is the spirit of the Lord straitened? Are these his doings? Do not my words do good to him that walketh uprightly? Even of late my people is risen up as an enemy. Ye pull off the robe with the garment from them that pass by securely as men averse from war. The women of my people have ye cast out from their pleasant houses. From their children have ye taken away my glory forever. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. If a man walk in the spirit and falsehood, do lie, saying, I will prophesy unto thee of wine and of strong drink. He shall even be the prophet of this people. I will surely assemble, O Jacob, all of thee. I will surely gather the remnant of Israel. I will put them together as the sheep of Basriah, as the flock in the midst of their fold. And they shall make great noise by reason of the multitude of men. The breakers come up before them. They have broken up and have passed through the gate and are gone out by it, and their king shall pass before them, and the Lord on the head of them.
Mr. Richardson, thank you very much for your grassroots reflections and for sharing those with us tonight. No further business and no points of personal privilege requested. Can I get a motion to adjourn? And without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.